So we're bringing up Suhail Syed, okay? Suhail Syed, and he's going to be talking about how to sell yourself as freelancer. As a matter of fact, Suhail is also a freelancer, in the Microsoft 365 space, and is a Teams expert and trainer. So if you want to go learn something about Teams, you know who to go to. So Suhail, thank you for joining us. How are you today?
I am doing awesome. Thank you for that introduction, Kay, and thank you, Munira. And I'm so excited to see like more than 100 people show up on a weekend where there's a football World Cup going on, and this really shows a different level of commitment. So I really hope that I'm able to add value and give back value for the time that you have provided and the opportunity you've given. And a big kudos to the team that has put this together. And this is the first conference. It's been so well organized, so well managed, amazing hosts and everything. It's not easy to do something at this scale and do it right the first time. So big congratulations to everyone who was part of putting this together. So with that said, I have some things to present, and of course, I will share my screen, and I'll try and limit myself to 10 minutes. I think we are already a little bit over on time, but of course, I can go on about this topic for say more than 2 hours, but we have a limit here. But feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. I might be able to do another session separately for those who are interested in hearing more from me. So with that said, I'll share my screen. I just have some notes. I don't have a presentation. That's how I roll. I'm technical. I'm boring. Like a Microsoft 365 engineer, I use OneNote. PowerPoint is not my thing, right? Okay. So just a brief introduction about me. Who am I? I've spent 10 years working for an IT organization that gets outsourced contracts from other parts of the world. And I worked for 10 years, almost a decade. So starting as a call center help desk agent, and then I was like an escalations shift supervisor, and then I became a trainer, document knowledge management writer, and then I was a customer experience lead, handling escalations and how to improve the user experience of the users who call the help desk. And then I moved in as a team leader, and then eventually as an operations lead, managing a team of 40 employees, or a $2 million annual contract. I was managing that single-handedly. So why did I quit, and when did I quit? I quit my job April of this year. I started freelancing on the side a few months before that. So April of this year is when I fully transitioned into freelancing. And why would I do that being, at a mid-manager level? Why would I then become a technician again and start taking calls? The whole reason is that when you work for an employer, when I was working for an employer, though I was managing a $2 million annual contract, and I was like the top manager for that contract, the designated operations manager, the way the margins work and the way the corporates are organized, there's training, there's recruiting costs, and there's a lot of the money goes to a lot of different places, and company invests on some experimental technology, so they take some of the profits and invest it there. So what really comes back to you is about 10 to 20% of what the client is actually paying. So if someone's paying $10,000 for my job, then I probably can get $2,000, anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000. So I was managing a $2 million contract, but my monthly pay was $1,200 a month. So I thought this is not right. I'm not making a fair share. How do I make a better share of money, to match the value that I'm actually adding to the organization? So that's when I explored freelancing, started it off as a hobby that I do on the side. I was getting one or two projects a month, and then one or two projects a week, then almost daily projects, and it kind of blew up. And there was times when I was doing two jobs and working an 8-hour shift, and then working another 8 hours of my freelance work, 16-hour days. I was not getting enough sleep. I was getting hallucinations. My hands would start to shiver and all of that. Then I quit my job and then decided, okay, let me have a life that I can actually sustain. I can't do both. And then I started to do freelancing full time after that. Now, is it for everybody? Can everybody be a freelancer? Yes, Liz said that there are people, freelancers at every level are required, and uh, clients are looking for freelancers with various skill levels. But I would say that I would say that you would need to have a little bit more than technical skills. You should have strong communication skills, which we typically we're calling soft skills, and the new term that's come out is power skills, because if you can communicate, understand the pain of the other person and respond to that, then that person, the trust is the biggest currency. So as long as they start trusting you, then they would trust what you have to say, they'll trust your advice, they'll trust your knowledge, they'll trust you with their money. So the most important skill here, I would say, are power skills. In addition to your technical knowledge, of course, if you don't have a skill, you can't sell it, like Olensi said. So you do need to have knowledge of Microsoft 365. But that knowledge of just Microsoft 365 is sufficient for you to work as an employee. Or you can still just use that skill to say work under the larger program that Nuri is leading, where you work as a Microsoft support rep, um, through the freelancing platform. But it's still, 4 to 8 hours. It's kind of part freelancing, like how Nuri said. It's not like you're working for multiple clients, which is more like true freelancing. So if you want to become a true freelancer, you need to know how to talk, how to understand somebody's problems, respond to them properly, make them feel heard, make them feel good. So you need to really get good communication skills, empathy, listening, all of those soft skills or power skills come into play. So develop a neutral accent. I am from India, so if I speak to my friends who are from India, I probably have a higher mother tongue influence. But when I am on calls and on work calls, I try. I don't try and fake an accent, but I try and have a more neutral accent. I deliberately make an attempt that an American person is able to understand. So while we will not be able to completely negate the effect of our mother tongue, but we should make an attempt to try and sound closer to the customer that we are talking to, so they are able to understand us better. Sales and negotiation are important skills, so you need to know how to sell additional services, add-on services, etc. So all of these things, in addition to having a strong subject matter expertise, is what makes you a good candidate for becoming a true freelancer. If you do not have these skills, I would recommend that you continue working a traditional job and work on improving all of these skills. And once you feel like you could be like a team leader and you're kind of driving the team and you're the chief communicator, you're the leader, you build that leadership qualities and your communication abilities, problem solving abilities, and then you also have your subject matter expertise, and when you bundle them together, that's what makes a more powerful, impactful freelancer. Now, talking about the financial side of this, right? So if you want to do freelancing, and if you quit your job to do freelancing, a few of you asked this question in the chat, how do you manage your expenses, right? It becomes difficult. So there's two options here. One is what I call frugal living. That is, when you have a job, try to spend the least amount of money possible, try to save up at least 3 months worth of living cost, so that when you're having a more unstable income, your savings can help you survive that period when you are making that transition. The other option, this is the harder option that I chose, is moonlighting, which is just doing this on the side alongside your job until you know that you're actually on the right path, and then you'll be fine if you quit your full-time job. So this means that you might have to spend 13-hour days, 14-hour days, working 9 hours for an employer and working 3-4 hours of freelancing. So this is a harder path. This means sacrifice for a a small period of time, maybe 6 months. You might have to live a little bit of a mad lifestyle, possibly a little bit unhealthy. So it depends on how healthy you are. If you're already having health issues, I would not recommend this. This can lead to them becoming more severe and cause damage. But I took that chance and it worked for me, and it can work for many others. But you just have to be careful if you choose this path in terms of where your health is. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the mindset. The mindset is very important. This is, for example, when I am on Fiverr, I see a lot of freelancers complaining, oh, they take 20% charges. I'm like, okay, but if you work for an employer, it's 90%. You've reduced it from 90% to 20%. So your employer was taking 90% of your income, and you were fine with that. Now all of a sudden you come and complain of 20% that Fiverr is taking or Upwork is taking. No, they have built a platform that brings all these people. If you go to any marketer, anybody who's doing cold outreach, 20% means you're getting 5x ROI. You're investing 20 and getting 100. So it's 5 times ROI for marketing spend, which is an amazing statistic. I went to a marketer and I asked, I'm getting five. I just didn't tell him it's Fiverr or Upwork. I just went and told him, hey, I have a channel which is giving me 5x ROI. Do you think that's expensive, or do you have any other marketing strategy? He was like, no, that is mind blowing return on investment, right? So think of it that way, that 20% is really cheap and it's a partnership. So when a lot of freelancers, once they do business, they're like, oh, let's make a payment direct through Payoneer. No, don't do that. Insist to keep the payments on Upwork, on Fiverr. That helps the algorithms with the repeat business score. And the more the repeat business score, and your gig will rank higher on the search pages. So for example, on Fiverr, they give you a repeat business badge. And they have an algorithm that ranks your repeat business score from a scale of 0 to 100, and 95 is considered excellent. If you score 95, that badge is displayed on your profile. And for me, it's always been 98, 99, 100, because I've insisted customers, and some customers have built so strong relationships. They're like, well, I know Fiverr charges a lot of money. I know, let's not pay them. I'll pay you direct. They trust me and they want to pay me directly. But I say, no, let's keep it on the platform. And I tell them, I'm happy to spend that money. That's my money, and that's marketing investment. That keeps my gig ranked higher, and I'm okay to spend that. So look at Fiverr or Upwork as a business partner. Don't ditch them. If you are not a loyal business partner, and you just want to use a relationship, right? It's same like in any relationship, right? The other party, if they come to know, your account will be banned. Or even if they don't come to know, it will hurt the algorithm and the ranking on the pages. So have the right mindset. Don't think of partner systems as someone who are stealing your money from your hard work, etc. Think of it like a partnership. So that will really help. Now, the next part going to talk about a sales method. Yes, freelance consulting is one method, but if you're really good at talking on video, you're really good at explaining stuff, you could create a course and upload it to Udemy and people will buy it. That's another thing. And consulting and providing trainings is one thing. Then clients might be able to pay a higher rate, but students or technical learners, they may not really be able to pay those rates. So you could do cohort sessions if they don't like watching recorded content. If you are really famous, you have a YouTube channel or something, you have a lot of followers, you can get 20 students together, everyone chips in with a small amount, and then you do cohort sessions. I've seen Microsoft consultants like Dhruvin Shah run these kind of cohort training programs, and they make decent money from it. They charge very less to the student, but then they have 25, 30 students paying that type of money, and then it really adds up. So that's another channel to sell your stuff. Content creation, like look at influencers like Kevin Stratworth, Leela Garani, Reza Durrani. They're just creating Microsoft 365 technical content, and they get thousands and thousands of views. And of course, They get YouTube revenue from the views, but not just that, right? Because they have so much exposure, they can, and they have built such a strong credibility and brand authority that they can charge out of the world consulting rates. For example, if you go to SharePoint Maven blogger Gregory Zelfond, right? He is one of the top creators who's been creating amazing content in SharePoint for years. Now it is paying off because if you go to his website and look at his consulting rate, it's $400 an hour for SharePoint consulting. You think he's crazy to charge those prices? No, he's getting those kind of clients and people are ready to pay him $400 an hour for SharePoint training, right? So you can get there with content creation, creating blogs and everything else as well. And then this is really what I am at right now. I'm a consultant. So what I do is I help, small businesses is what I really target. And they have 10 mailboxes, 15 mailboxes. They don't have a full-time IT person. So you become their fractional IT support. So when they come to me, what I say is, okay, you are on Google Workspace. You want to come to Microsoft. I'll help you migrate all your data. Now, once it's migrated, a lot of people, okay, they took on a migration project, they'll say migration is done, bye bye. Now what I do is I say, okay, we have migrated. Now what we will do is let's set up your self-service password reset. Let's look at your security settings. You give them all the other insights and that kind of gives you more work and they build more trust, and then you can sell enhancements. Another thing that I do is I've learned a lot on the functional side of Microsoft 365. A lot of people like to be on the back end. No, get to the front end, learn how forms works, learns how SharePoint lists can be used, learn how the bookings calendar works, and tell the customers about all these options. And I've had clients who say, oh, can you create these 10 forms for these processes, and when this form is submitted, I want a PDF document to be generated and emailed to this person. All right, I already have a mini Power Automate project that I can do. So all these things, just giving them awareness gets you more business from the same client instead of continuously chasing for more and more customers. You can just maximize business with the customers that you already have and not really have to continuously chase customers. The other aspect is referrals that I do. Referrals is if I am, um, you know, if I am not good at something, somebody comes and says, hey, I need a website developed for my business. Or somebody comes to say, I want a custom Power Apps developed. I'm really a Microsoft 365 admin and trainer and functional consultant. I'm not really a developer. So I used to say, no, I don't do that. And I used to let the customers go. Now what happened is I built some relationships on LinkedIn and I have really trustworthy developers. If somebody says, I need a SharePoint site developed and it needs to have all these fancy features and it goes beyond my skill set. And, I say, oh, okay, that's crazy. We have to probably get a developer and it's going to cost a few $1,000s. Customers like, no, we have the budget. Tell me how much it's going to cost. And then I outsource it to my developer partner. And he then does it. And he says, oh, if I get the project from Upwork, I pay 20%. I get a project from you, so I'll give you that 20%. And I've made $2,000 this month just by referring some of my customers to do development work for him. And that developer also started on Upwork, and he is still on Upwork, and he does a lot of his work through Upwork. He has 25 employees, has moved into a massive 3,000 square feet office. It's really fancy. So, you can also scale, right? When you get a lot of clients that you cannot handle yourself, you can hire people and project manage them and delegate them. So I know a freelancer who started doing freelance Power Platform development on Upwork, and now he's scaled to 25 employees and moved into a fancy 3,000 square feet office. So, and what I do is I just refer clients that fall into that skill set to him, and he takes care of them. I get a good cut from it, and I act as a mini Upwork or another marketing channel for him. So all these are different ways to make money. Now, talking about sales channels, I already mentioned social media. You can get clients from LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You can get work from Fiverr, Upwork, and many other freelance platforms. And you also have something called subcontracting and markups. This is something I've recently explored. So what I do is I tie up with an IT services company, which is based in the US or Europe, and they might offer some related services. Maybe they support, they provide on-site hardware and networking support, or maybe they provide backup services. They don't have M365 expertise. I say, you have your clients. I have M365 expertise. They charge rates like $100, $150 an hour because of where they are based. I say, I'll do it for you at $50. They mark up my price. So I don't have a direct relationship with those customers, but I charge them $50. They charge their clients $100, and they make money. I make money. Both are happy. So this can also be done. You can go and search for IT service providers in US, UK, Canada, and search them on LinkedIn. Reach out to them saying, "Hey, do you want me to be a remote worker? I see you do networking and hardware. Do you have anybody who does M365 in your? Do your customers need that? Then I can do it. You can outsource it to me." And just reach out to people. And this is called cold outreach, where you message people who you believe might be interested in your service on a social media platform and get them to give you work. Now, another thing about sales channels is every sales channel works differently. So on Fiverr, for example, the catalog works best. On Upwork, for example, the proposals are the primary thing. So on Fiverr, if I have to stand out, because the catalog is the main thing, I need to have really good catalog images. I need to have a nice video of myself talking about what I do. So what I did is I saw not many people have uploaded videos. So what I did is I booked a co-working space for a day, booked a nice meeting room, went in there with my wife. She recorded me talking about what we do. And then I hired a graphic designer, again through Fiverr or Upwork, and then got them to design some nice gig pages, uploaded that, really updated my gig. And immediately I saw an increase in the inquiries multiply by 3x. So just do but the same approach will not work on Upwork. Upwork is more about how nicely you write proposals, and catchy proposals that really get the customer's attention. So if you want to master Upwork, you might want to learn how to write better proposals. But for Fiverr, you probably have to record a nice video of yourself, write a nice gig description, have really well designed graphics for your gig images, etc. So for LinkedIn, for example, it's a combination of your story, your background, and a little bit of the subject matter content mixed in. So there's different strategies for every platform. So if you try and jump on all of these at the same time, you might get burned out and overwhelmed. So pick one platform or two platforms at a time, understand the algorithms, understand how that platform works. For example, if you want to go to learn about Upwork, Upwork Academy is a good place. There's a coach who teaches, which I've been following on LinkedIn. His name is Miko Rison, and he puts out a lot of Upwork best practices, etc. I follow his profile, get his tips on LinkedIn, etc. Fiverr, I think I kind of have mastered that by trial and error already. So every platform has its own caveats. So you need to learn the nitty gritties of every platform. If you jump on 10 platforms at the same time, it might not work for you. And you also have to know what's your skill. If you're really good at video, if you're really pleasant to talk like Kay or Munira, you could, probably Fiverr and Upwork is not the right place for you. You should probably be on YouTube, Instagram, or do some TikTok. Like, one amazing example is Kat Norton. If you guys have not heard of it, she brands herself Miss Excel, and she just puts out this really cool Excel tips while dancing on the side and doing this TikTok reel. She's gone super viral, and thousands of students have signed up for her Excel course. She's probably making hundreds of thousands every month by just teaching Excel, how to use Excel. She makes maybe my guess is it's more than 100,000 a month. So you have this. If you have a nice personality, if you can be funny in front of a camera, try YouTube and Instagram. If you're a nice storyteller, if you write your stories very well, if you want to share your story, LinkedIn is a great platform, right? And if you're not really a social media person, then you could try free and you are good at crafting catchy proposals, then probably Upwork is the right platform. Right. So all of these things are possible. So as I mentioned in the prerequisites, right, how do we learn all these skills? Good English, neutral accent, sales, negotiation, and all that. is just to follow people who, there are people who spend years and years just learning one particular skill, and they spend a lot of time and effort researching. So these are, and I've seen a lot of Microsoft 365 enthusiasts or technology enthusiasts just follow people in the technology space. No, we need to learn how to write content better, right? So let's follow a couple of content writers like there was one writer who presented before me today, right? We can follow him and see what kind of tips he posts on LinkedIn. So this is what I do to master Upwork. I follow this person, and my Upwork journey is not great. I started on Fiverr, and it kind of worked very well for me. So I haven't really transitioned to Upwork, while I intend to add that as a sales channel and focus more on Upwork in 2023. Right now, my Upwork is really crap, but I need to work on that. Sorry for the Upwork staff that are present here. That's a shame. That's on me. That's my fault. I'll work on it. Right. So yeah. So for Fiverr, you can follow me. I share some Fiverr tips. You can follow me on LinkedIn, and there's course, free course by Fiverr similar to Upwork Academy. And you can all, I'll share all these links how to successfully freelance on Fiverr. There's Upwork coach who shares Upwork tips, and you could also use the Upwork Academy videos. If you want to master LinkedIn, there's a free course by Tasleem, who's an amazing LinkedIn influencer, and it's called the Robin Hood course because he's stealing secrets from the rich and giving to people like us. And you can follow him here at Tasleem's link. How to talk, how to present yourself in front of the camera nicely. There's a amazing public speaking coach that I follow on LinkedIn. Her name is Nausheen. Sales and negotiation. There's an amazing sales coach whose name is Salman. He puts out lovely tips with a lot of examples, a lot of video content on LinkedIn. I follow him, learn a lot from him. And there's also another person who helps with English communication and how to use better words, and an English language coach that I follow on LinkedIn. His name is Tom Stotesbury. So all these people, give me the soft skills and the power skills aspect of it. And then you obviously have the Microsoft 365 content creators like Reza Dorani, Leela Garani, and Kevin Stratworth, and all these people, and Microsoft Learn tutorials, and learn.microsoft.com, the documentation and Udemy courses that you can use to learn the technical side of it. So I feel like we already know, being from the Microsoft 365, you would probably already know all these Microsoft 365 influencers and their names, and you probably are already following them. So I just wanted to share some resources outside of the Microsoft 365 world that you can follow and learn from. I'll just drop all of this into a chat. And yeah, if you have any questions, please go for it now. Sorry, I had to rush it because I know that time was running out, and you guys had already extended, and I had a lot of topics, so I had to be really fast.